Hello and welcome to the Any Art Netty cooking channel, and I'm Netty. Now today I am making gluten-free naan breads. Now this yielded 4 rather small naan breads, and I served this with a lovely curry. The recipe will be coming soon. So today we're travelling from India. I'm going to be cooking a traditional bread all the way up there, travelling to Cumbria. So now the ingredients I used obviously is gluten-free bread, and I wanted to use a yeast because it does work better. I think with bread you get that lovely bready flavour which is missing. And I used 125 millilitres of water there with 1 sachet of yeast to activate the yeast, and for the yeast to feed on as well I added 1 teaspoon of caster sugar. Now got my bowl there ready, and the flour is weighed out. 300 grams of gluten-free plain flour. Now how I would change this is I'd use tapioca flour, 60 grams of tapioca flour with 240 grams of the gluten-free flour. Now I'm just making an indent with a tablespoon there to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It just makes less washing up, and you know the way olive oil kind of sticks to a tablespoon, so you literally just pour the oil then into the flour. So just to show you up close there, that's what that looks like, just making an indent or an imprint into the flour, just like so, and just press it down with your finger. And then you just pour your oil into that then. So I'm just adding the salt there. I like to add the salt separately once the yeast has bloomed, because the salt can kill off the yeast. And also adding 100 millilitres there of a plain yoghurt. Now I'm using a dairy-free yoghurt, so anyone that needs dairy-free, feel free to use a dairy-free yoghurt. And just add in the yeast, which has bloomed really lovely there. The sugar really does help with that. And I got that yeast to around about I got that water to around 40 to 46 degrees Celsius. Any less than that it won't activate, and any more than that it will kill it off. So I'm just combining all of the ingredients there. And next you'll knead it just like you would with a normal bread. So there we are. I just started mixing that, combining it together with my hand, because the warmth of your hand will make it all combine better. Now I would also, when I make this next, I'm going to add 25 grams of melted butter. Let it cool a bit. I think that'll make for a softer finish, and also maybe an egg as well, or I might just use a 1 1/4 teaspoon of aquafaba instead. And also what I missed out was xanthan gum. Now all of those quantities and everything will be in a download that you can print off below. Now I'm into me art, so there'll also be bits that you can colour in and things like that. Now that'll be coming soon. Now I used a knife to score it with a cross there into 4, so it'll be easier once it is doubled in size because of the yeast. It'll be easier to separate. Now I put cling film over that, and I'm going to leave it to prove for around about 45 minutes, but it's very cold here, it's winter at the minute, so I left it for about 2 hours. Just leave it until it doubles in size. Now on the inside of that cling film I put some oil just in case it's stuck to it. Now on my surface there to roll it out, I'm just going to put a light smattering of the flour, and then get just one of those. See how easy it was just to get it the 1/4 there. Now I'm going to flatten that and roll it out into a teardrop shape. Now anyone that's, obviously I've done this by hand, now anyone that's got a mixer, if you're very lucky, I'd use a paddle attachment, and it should take 3 minutes to incorporate that, but obviously when I was mixing it with me hands and in the bowl I was doing it by hand, but anyone who's got the luxury of using a mixer should take about 3 minutes, so much easier. One day hopefully. So without the added xanthan gum, I found it was very unpleasant to shape. I think when you're making gluten-free, especially breads, the more ingredients that you take away, the less it's gonna be like the actual authentic thing. So it can seem, gluten-free can seem more like an experiment, but yeah, the more ingredients that you have which are authentic to a recipe, the more it is going to be like the authentic thing. So all I needed to do was fry them on either side for around about 3 minutes. I also popped it in the oven and I found it a bit too crispy, so if you don't like that, just fry it for around about 2 or 3 minutes in a very hot pan. And all I used was some vegetable oil. Now I do usually use sunflower oil, but in my internet shopping it gave me vegetable oil instead. So if you want, you can also pop some dairy-free spread on that. You don't have to use that, and obviously, but I just wanted to use that. So there we go. Definitely yeast makes all the difference, but obviously if you can't tolerate yeast, don't use that. I'll also use like a tapioca flour next time, and definitely xanthan gum. You can freeze these, so pop them in a container or wrap them in cling film and pop them in the freezer and then completely thaw them. And there we are, that's what they look like. Now you notice one is missing, one just completely fell to bits, but I got 3, and I've also got the recipe for the curry coming up. And also, if you can have gluten, I am doing a keema naan recipe, which was for my lovely partner. So thank you very much for watching. I shall see you again soon, very soon. Lots of videos coming up. Take care and bye for now.